Kashmir's business hub Lal Chowk, which has historical and political significance, is set to witness an interesting battle between uncle and nephew belonging to Apni party and the PDP respectively. The area which remained a hotbed of separatist activities in Jammu and Kashmir is now abuzz with political talks. We are approaching to Lasjan, a stronghold of Zuhaib Mir, who is a contesting candidate for People's Democratic Party. Historic Lal Chowk Constituency is going to witness an interesting contest between People's Democratic Party, National Conference, Apni Party, and interestingly, in this constituency, you'll see a nephew-uncle fighting this seat. Zuhaib Yousuf Mir is from People's Democratic Party, and Zuhaib, you are on the ground. You have been very vocal on certain issues from the People's Democratic Party. How excited are you for this election?
See, as far as excitement is concerned, yes, of course, I'm enthused that I'm fighting this election for the betterment, for the development, for the identity of people. But I am not surprised that this election is happening because there is a sort of environment that has been created that we are doing you a great service by conducting this election in Kashmir. However, you have to understand this basic fundamental that this is our fundamental right to have an election. A lot of people are getting very happy that the elections are happening. Of course, it's a good thing, but however, it's not something. It's not like a. It's as if आपने एहसान नहीं है हमारे ऊपर ये. So you're not doing us a favor. This is a constitutional duty that you have to you had to fulfill. And as far as my campaign is concerned, it's going on okay. I'm alhamdulillah happy about it. But we have to reach each and every house and tell them our manifesto, tell them how the people of Kashmir are reeling under a lot of stress, economic stress, and a lot of other issues that are plaguing Kashmir right now, especially about identity.
People's Democratic Party reposed faith in you, and you were fielded from Lal Chowk constituency, which is a very historical constituency. Lal Chowk is an area which is a business hub. Lal Chowk is an area which witnessed historical speeches by the former prime ministers. Lal Chowk is an area where you were, announced, you were guaranteed many things. How do you see this all coming up, and finally you fighting for this kind of constituency?
See, I happen to live in this area. So my party has reposed faith in me. I am happy that Mehbooba Mufti Sahiba, she considered me the right person to be representing this area. I'll try to do everything possible for the business community, for the rural community, for our people, so that they are benefited in some way or the other, especially the fact that, unemployment has been a very big issue in Kashmir from 2019. If you see that unemployment has been plaguing Kashmir for quite some time. We have the highest amount of educated youth who are unemployed in Kashmir. This is something that we have to tackle, because otherwise there is a lot of mental health issues that seem to have erupted. That's one thing. Second is that you see a lot of people in Kashmir, they are detained under young guys, 18 years old, 19 years old, 21 years, 25 years old. They are detained under Public Safety Act, and they're incarcerated in various jails in the entire country. Varanasi jail, Kot Balwal jail, so many places. And their whatever their problems, they have done only minor mistakes. So for that they're incarcerated for 4 years. That's not right. We have to work for them as well. If you see, I'll give you another example of a very disturbing example that they've made to post 2019. This administration made passport a very big weapon. That is something that we have to work against. And inshallah, I'm hopeful once we are in power, these things will be off.
We're in Lasjan area, and right now Zuhaib Yousuf Mir is going door to door. He's knocking the doors, and he's going with folded hands to his people and asking them to get good wishes and also vote for him. Zuhaib will be part of your door-to-door campaign. Let's see how people react to your, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
नारे तकबीर
Allahu Akbar.
नारे तकबीर
Allahu
I'm वो आपकी बात. Assalamu alaikum. Mel Shanav Zuhaib Yousuf Mir. Buchus Wotmut Lal Chowk Constituency MLA candidate PDP की तरफ. Meshtoy Modbana Guzarish. कि कलम दवातस त्रेजो तुई वोट पानुन कीमती. अस्सलाम वालेकुम. ठीक है शायद. ना ना क्या छु. ना वही कैसे. अच्छा तुझे इरफान से बस चाय. अल्लाह ताला से ना वही कैसे क्या. Meshtoy Modbana Guzarish. कलम दवातस त्रेजो वोट पानुन कीमती.
Looking into your commitments for the Lal Chowk constituency, if we go into this document, restoring dignity, identity, and prosperity of Kashmiris. This is the first point you have mentioned. And then resolution and rehabilitation of stone and sand miners, provision of 200 units of free electricity and one-time substantial settlement of high bills, free 12 gas cylinders, review of nuclear policy of Jammu and Kashmir, assistance of youth for passport-related issues, which you already mentioned. So, have you thought about these issues and have you done any ground assessments? And do you think people are going to resonate with these kind of ideas?
See, these are the problems that are plaguing Kashmir since time immemorial. However, post 2019, these problems have become very acute because the ruling dispensation has considered Kashmir not as a parcel, not as a state which has people with feelings, but however as a piece of land which they want to somehow annex and feel good about it. I want to understand and rather I want to ask a question that how many people have you booked under PSA and they are in various jails in the rest of the country? How many passports are just there in those departments and you're not giving approval for that? How many people are reeling under a huge economic crisis, job crisis? Inflation is all-time high. The gas cylinder that used to be 8, 9 years back, that used to be 450, 500 rupees. Now it's for almost around 1400 rupees. So these are the problems which are plaguing Kashmir. You are not. The problem is that the ruling dispensation in the center right now considers us as a vanquished lot who can do whatever they want with us. But they have to understand that we have the same issues, same problems as the rest of the country has, which is inflation, unemployment, joblessness. But the added problem here is that you have alienated us by breaching your own promises. You had made some constitutional promises to us via constitution, made certain promises to us, which you somehow dismantled, and then you are asking us this question that whosoever made those promises at that point, go and seek of their approval and go and ask them. This is not how it's done. There has to be a continuity in the government. If the state of Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, and Tripura, Meghalaya, they have a system called as inner line permit. If those states have inner line permits, like a visa to enter those states, even the Prime Minister has to apply for that visa before entering that state. We had a small Article 370 which protected our cultural integrity. What was the problem with that? This is something that I wanted to ask. And at the same time, I want to say one more thing. This was all Shyama Prasad Mukherjee's proposition to start dismantling Article 370, the movement that he started in 1951. I just want to ask one thing. When he was made I think the industries ministers in 1947, from 1947 till 51, till we had elections, he did not have any problems with it. However, post 1951, when he knew that he had to contest elections because his own political career was flagging, he started raking up Kashmir's issue, Kashmir's 370 and the inner line permit that was being granted to Kashmir earlier. So every damn time you cannot brush us with this ideological revenge.
Your party, PDP, was in alliance with BJP. And was it a historical mistake or was it a historical alliance?
The BJP was not given mandate, or BJP was not given power by People's Democratic Party. It was the people of India that chose BJP to be in running the country. However, we knew that we had to deal with the central government. That is why all at all times, and for the favorable and seamless functioning of the government, we aligned with the BJP. But that alliance was based on certain conditions. That was called the common minimum program. Agenda of alliance. It was not an unconditional alliance, and in that you had properly written that you'll not touch Article 370. You'll speak to Hurriyat. You'll speak to all the stakeholders. You'll bring peace to the subcontinent by bringing peace to Jammu and Kashmir. You'll speak to all the stakeholders. However, if a business contract is breached, you can visit the court of law. If political contract is breached, you cannot visit. It's like a thing where you broke the trust of the people. You broke our trust, you broke everybody's trust. However, I want to ask one more thing. I want to add one more thing. In 2015, there were other political organizations as well, as was being quoted by the ex person who was in the national conference. Yeah, they were offering an unconditional support to the BJP to form a government in 2015. And had we not formulated the government in 2015, I am doubtful. Perhaps in Article 370 would have been eliminated in 2015 itself, and that too legitimately.
Because NC was too keen to go into the.
Yeah, it was too keen, and ultimately revelations of Devendra Rana tells us that.
आपकी सियासत की बहुत बात होगी. आपकी कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी की अगर बात करें, लाल चौक कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी की, आपकी कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में आपके अंकल, who has been the former PDP strong candidate, now joined अपनी party. He defeated Umar Abda, the former chief minister, when he was part of People's Democratic Party. Now you are fighting him in this constituency. तो कैसी ये लड़ाई है? तो घर पे भी माहौल कैसा रहता होगा और कैसी ये लड़ाई रहेगी?
ये देखिए, मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं, हमारे बीच में काफ़ी रिस्पेक्ट है, बट आइडियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंस है. But it's not like I cannot subscribe to everything that someone says, right? I have my own political understanding. I have my own ideological understanding, and I have my own ideological leanings as well. So I follow that. And if somebody wants to choose something else, I'm not going to. This is a democratic country. I'm not going to ask him not to. However, there is a lot of respect. There is disagreement over the ideological front, and that's why I've chosen this path, because I feel Mehbooba Mufti Sahiba post 2019 especially has been the lone voice that has roared like a lioness for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And however, the other parties, they've subscribed somehow to the tunes of the government in center, and that is something that I totally disagree with. Yeah.
Who do you see your next competitor in this constituency?
See, in politics, in electoral politics, everybody is a competitor. I'm not saying that there is this person is weak or that person is not weak. I'm saying each and everyone is a competitor. However, my only thing is that I want to work for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, for the people of my constituency, for making their lives better. I do recognize it's a tough competition. Everybody is eyeing for this seat, and I'm also working hard. Let's hope.
If I'm right, you have your degree in economics from University of Edinburgh, United Kingdom. You might have had a lot of chances to settle down there. What was that spark that brought you here and you joined politics?
Honestly, post 2000, I think when I came back to India in 2013 towards the end, my grandfather fell sick, and I took care of him almost for 1.5 years. I used to do everything for him. I used to bathe him. And during those days, when I was in Kashmir, unfortunately, he had cancer and he died. Allah Ta'ala unhe Jannat Firdaus ata kare. During that time, I went to all the hospitals. We had to intermittently go to those hospitals after every 15 days, 20 days, because he used to get those infections, sepsis infection ho jata tha. So during those days, just because we were a little
And
privileged,
I must tell the audience, he was a very prominent figure who established his business, estate in Jammu and Kashmir, especially in Kashmir, and he was very respected in this area.
when he died, I during that tenure, I used to visit certain hospitals along with him to treat him for his sepsis. I used to see there our hospitals, our healthcare system was completely. I think it was completely
In shambles.
decimated and shambles and deprecated. I used to feel very bad. A lot of people lined up in emergency rooms and and then waiting for hours to get themselves treated, and even people with heart attacks waiting for hours to get themselves treated. That sort of shook me. The healthcare system, that shook me. Then post that, then I was preparing for UPSC back in the time. I was during the. I've told this to many people, and it seems like a made up story, but it's actually a true anecdote that I'm telling you. On 5th of, I cleared my prelims. I given my mains twice. During that time when Article 370 was being abrogated, it was actually coincidentally on 5th of August in the morning, I was revising Article 370 because you have to read the entire Constitution. You have to remember, I was revising Article 370 on that day. I was telling my friends, and it so happened that many of my friends were telling me that perhaps there is some movement going on in Kashmir. There's a lot of CRPF that they've been infiltrated here, and the phone connections are not working. I myself, with a lot of gumption and with a lot of, I think, resoluteness, I told them, see, this is the article, this is the Constitution. See,
This is the
it's
guarantee.
this is the guarantee. You cannot touch Article 370. You have to pass it in the state legislative assembly, and then before that, there are a lot of things that it was quite difficult to abrogate it or make it weaker. And just within 2 hours, what happened is that Article 370 was being diluted, abrogated. So that sort of disenchanted me, the system. And then I realized that I have to be here. I have to be back within my people. I have to work for them. I have to work for their dignity. It was being taken off. आप किसी के कपड़े उतार दो, फिर उसे बोलो आप हमें आपके सोने के कपड़े पहनाएंगे, वो तो नहीं अच्छी बात है. You have to ensure, you have to see that if a Bengali can be a Bengali and an Indian, why can't a Kashmiri be a Kashmiri and an Indian? This is what I wanted to ask.
So identity crisis has been there.
Identity crisis. They have. There is a consistent onslaught on our identity post. I'll give you an example of. I'll give an example of alcoholism. That's the reason we have put it in our manifesto that we'll review the alcohol policy. Why? Because post 2019 there is a great proliferation in drinking in Kashmir. In 2019 it was, I think, around 395 crores. That was the revenue coming from alcohol. Right now it's 2,600 crores. Within the period span of 5 years, it has increased to 2,600 crores. Where is this alcohol going? You are infusing alcohol into our culture. This is something that we need to take care of.
Zuhaib, lastly, a lot of youngsters like you have joined the political mainstream, political landscape.
Yeah.
If we see People's Democratic Party, Wahid was seen as the youngest face and doing a lot of things on ground. Now a lot of youngsters have joined your circle. How do you see this trend?
I'm glad that People's Democratic Party has given a lot of credence, credibility to the youngsters, and they want youngsters to be representing Kashmir because 75% of our population is below the age of 35. So they should have their representatives of that age group. So this is something that our the party president also recognizes, and they want youngsters to come forward because they would understand the dynamics of society much better. And I'm sure the youngsters, youth is the future of any nation, and that's the reason representation should be given to the youngsters. And at the same time, this is also reflected in our party mandates as well. Most of the youngsters are given a lot of mandates here. New faces.
As I have seen, when you knock the door and you get people who appreciate you, who give you good wishes, Are there any people who show resentment? And what's your response at that time?
Of course, there are people who do not.
What's your response at that time?
I just tell them to hug me and read my manifesto, and that's about it. I let them be. I just smile because smile. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has taught us even the smile is a charity. I smile, I hug them, I give them my manifesto, and I tell them try to vote for us. That's it. Humbly.
Thank you so much. We have taken your time. You are on the mission of going door to door, and we wish you all the best for your big day.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.